Mutembei. Good afternoon. When I was thinking about what to say, there was one sentence that kept ringing in my head, and that was, we're soldiering on. So, growing up, we used to stay over at Kuka and Shosho's house, and that was one of the best memories, going to the farm when we were very young. And it was a break from home when my parents were a bit too much sometimes. The meets, the bonding, even with my fellow cousins. Our grandparents would give us very good knowledge into what life would throw at us. And that sentence, we're soldiering on, was always there. Now, when I was away during high school and university, so when I would come back, we'd meet as a family, and every gathering, it would always end with Mukar looking at me and saying, we'll talk. And I knew that meant we'll go talk in the office. Initially, I was scared, to be honest, but at some point, it turned into advice, leadership, and all those things you need to learn as a man. I would always ask him, Kuka, how are you? He always says, we're soldiering on. And the meeting would always end with, we're soldiering on. Even when things got bad for him, even when we were in the hospital together, I would always ask, Kuka, how are you? He said, we're soldiering on. Thank you, Kuka, for instilling strength in me and our family. And from wherever you are, just know we as a family are soldiering on. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. God is good, and all the time. I know words won't be able to do justice to the magnificent portrait of the life you, Kuka, had. Kuka, you are a man of integrity, a man of great strength, and a man of character. The wisdom and insight you implemented into our minds will live on for generations to come, and it is what shaped me into the person I am today. Your trove of knowledge, skills, and achievements never failed to amaze me. Kuka, you are truly one of a kind. My earliest memory of Kuka was when us grandchildren used to come over for sleepovers in Karen. Kuka used to come home at night from work and find us having pillow fights in the living room. Without hesitation, he actively participated in those fights. Kuka was also a man with great clairvoyance and was a great analyst. He would always think before speaking. And whatever he said, sure enough, happened. I remember when we all watched the World Cup finals in 2022. If any of you remember that match, especially for the French supporters out there, you know how heart-racing that match was. France and Argentina drew 3-3, then went into penalties. Kuka told me that day, France is not going to win. I looked at him and thought he was crazy and didn't know anything about football. Being a French supporter, I refused to believe what he said, but funny enough, France lost on penalties. Kuka was also somebody who was very proud of his grandchildren and loved to show us off. He told me one day he was getting many calls about my speech at the manifesto launch of my father, and that when negotiations start for my own wedding, that he'll give me away with dollars instead of Kenya shillings. Kuka was also a man who loved speaking and always wanted to inspire the minds of the younger generation. Every time I sat down with him, he always advised, inspired, and educated me. Kuka was also deeply devoted to his faith. He loved reading us Bible stories in bed, especially about Moses, and quizzing us about them after. Kuka was also somebody who loved his chocolate cake and wine, and he cunningly got me to indulge in those dark chocolates and wine and not tell my parents, as it was our little secret. This was all before I was legal. As we celebrate this great man today and continue his legacy, I want to leave you with the heartfelt words of the brilliant Albert Einstein. Our death is not an end if we can live on in our children. For they are us, our bodies are only wilted leaves on the tree of life. Kuka, I will miss you so much, and I promise to make you proud by making your name live on. Thank you.
Big clap, both of them, thank you. Now we have the last set of grandchildren. That is the tallest in our family, Cairo and Wanjiro Gatembo.
Mine will be short. I don't know Maina Wanjigi. I don't know him. However, who I do know is Kuka. I don't know the politician Maina Wanjigi. I don't know how he helped the people of his county. I don't know the Maina Wanjigi who helped the SOS Foundation. I don't know Maina Wanjigi. All these stories people are telling are new to me because I didn't know Maina Wanjigi. I knew Kuka. My Kuka who would slip me wine in the tiniest wine glass at dinner when I spent the night, 2 glasses maximum, just like him. My Kuka who would read me Bible stories and quiz me on them later, or even as he was reading, just to make sure I was paying attention. My Kuka who would sit with me by the fire and discuss the books we were reading at the time. That was my Kuka. That's the man I remember. So like I said, I don't know Maina Wanjigi. I just know Kuka. I know someone who took me and my brother to Giraffe Center for an outing once. I know someone who used to call me his best friend. I know someone who used to make a face whenever I'd mention men in the kitchen. Someone who loved chocolate more than me. That's who I know. That's who I remember. I'm learning about Maina Wanjigi, but I'm missing my Kuka.